So welcome everybody to this National Geographic Learning Professional Development webinar. In today's session, you're going to be taking part in a model academic writing lesson. Some of you might be thinking, my students think academic writing is boring or academic writing is difficult, okay? And yes, you know, a lot of academic textbooks can be dry and they can be demotivating sometimes, but today we're going to see how we can use relatable themes and content, and we can use a scaffolded approach, and these combine to make a really engaging academic lesson that's fun to study and also very easy to teach. So I hope that sounds good to you. Some of you might have been at our global webinar last week with Paul Dummett, how to help students reflect and build background knowledge. And today I'm hoping to expand a little bit on some of Paul's themes, such as using relatable content and using critical thinking, and how these can both really benefit our students. My name is Will Lashett, and I am an academic consultant for National Geographic Learning. I'm from the UK, but I live in Singapore. And I have been working in ELT since 2001. I'd like to find out a little bit about you, okay, before I get into my content here. So I'm going to launch a poll. And the first poll is about the segment. So if you could just tell me which of these different segments do you teach? If you teach all of them, you can select all of them. If you're not a teacher, you can select that. And then at the bottom, there's another question. If you scroll down, it says, do you teach academic English? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Or I used to, but I don't right now. So this is really just to give me an idea of who I'm talking to today. Interested to see, for example, how many of you are teaching academic English, because that's what the webinar is about. Let's give you a few more seconds. We've got about 2/3 of you have voted at the moment. We've got 257 people in the room right now. If you're watching on Facebook, you can't vote in this, but you can type into the comment. Okay, you can tell me what you teach in there. Okay, so we've got 75%. That's great. So I'm going to end the poll and show you the results. So we can see here, this is good. Okay, so we've got the majority, well, 50% of you, okay, are teaching teenagers. So that's perfect for this academic, the academic materials we're looking at today. And also in second place, we've got university. 1/3 of you are teaching, 32% of teaching university. So these are really the two areas that this is most relevant for, are the teens or secondary, older teens, and university age, right? I can also see here that almost 70%, 69% of you are teaching academic English, and another 11% of you have taught it before. So that's great. So I think almost everyone here today is going to get something from this. All right, so today we're using material from our brand new academic program called Reflect. It is a 6-level dual strand series. So what that means is that there are 6 reading and writing books and also 6 listening and speaking books. And you can use one of those, or you could use them together. Okay, they work very well together as well. I'm really excited about this program. I think there are lots of excellent features. And today we're going to be using a unit from level 1 of the reading and writing strand. It is designed for A1 CEFR level students. So that's beginner or elementary level students. And maybe we're thinking about A1 level students who might be at secondary school, at college, or at university. I'm going to be using the classroom presentation tool. You might hear me refer to it as the CPT. This is basically a piece of software which we make for all of our course books. And it has all of the media that you need. It has all of the answers. It's interactive. It has all of the video, all of the audio. And I think it's really a must-have, especially if you're teaching online. It really makes teaching very straightforward. So let's go and take a look and start the lesson. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'm going to do a new share, a screen share, and we're going to go right over to, not to here, we're going to go right over to the classroom presentation tool. Okay, so what you're looking at now, well, maybe you can tell me so I can see that you can see what I want you to see. Can you type into the chat box, what can you see? What are we looking at? We're looking at food, that's right. And so every unit starts off with one of these beautiful, huge images, really vibrant, you know, really engaging photo that students are going to enjoy looking at, and we can get a lot of discussion out of. So maybe you can tell me here, what types of food can you see? Should we zoom in a bit and have a look around? Delicious food. Someone says Greek. Okay, right. Traditional food, protein, pizza. Okay, I think actually, I don't think that is a pizza. I think it's something else. Someone's saying Asian bread. How about this here? What's this red fruit you can see here? Does anyone know what that's called? It's a pomegranate. That's right. Someone's got it. Someone said lemon. Yeah, we can definitely see lemons up here, can't we? And I think these might be lemons or limes or some kind of citrus fruit there. Yes, we've got lots of different delicious looking food here. Can you tell me who is eating this food? Olives, that's right, we've got olives here. Who's eating this food? Who are they? Deanne says a family. I think it's a family as well. Asian, a lot of people saying Asian. I think it's a family. Why do you think it's Asian? Just out of curiosity, a lot of you have said that. Because of the skin color, right? Okay. Okay, looks like Asian food. Okay, maybe they're neighbors. Asian people like food, right? So you're giving me some reasons. Okay, that's great. Okay, a little bit of critical thinking there. A lot of you have already typed this in, but what country do you think it is? One of you I saw had the right answer. Which country do you think this is? Greece, Turkey, right? You got it, Yumiko. It is Turkey. My last question, do you think this is a normal everyday meal? Do you think this family eat like this every day? No, no, probably not. We think probably that this is a special kind of meal, right? So let's have a look. We can reveal, I'm going to use my eraser or my rubber, and I'm going to remove that, and we can see that this is a Turkish celebration meal. So well done. I think it was Yumiko who got the right answer there. But you said Greek. Okay, I think they have similar food there. How about your family? So tell me, in your country, do you eat similar meal to this? Okay, when would you eat this kind of meal with your family? So what time of the week or what time of the year, when would you eat that? Christmas, family gathering, special occasion, at the weekend, New Year, festivals. Right, some great ideas coming in. And is there a particular dish? Do you have like a national dish, a special dish that you might eat at a big occasion like this? Right, Tet holiday. Okay, lechon, there we go. Lechon, I think, is a kind of roasted pork, right? Okay, a national dish. Sticky rice cake. There we go. Ikan mas asik. It's fish. I know ikan is fish, but I don't know. I don't know what that is. Pancit. Okay, some of these things I don't know. Tamales. Okay, in Guatemala. Adobo. Okay, meatballs. Right. So you're giving me all these, all these dishes that are maybe national dishes for you that you would eat at a celebration. So from this one photo, we can see that we can get a lot of ideas. We can really get students involved in the topic, and this whole unit is going to be about food. Okay, let's have a look over here. I want to show you this on the right because this is something I really like about the program. So we've got here, it's almost like it's like a contents page for the unit. And what we've got here, it's telling us the different themes that we're going to look at in this unit. And down here, we've got the different skills that we're going to cover. All right, so it's very clear to the students right from the first page, this is what we're going to be learning. These are the outcomes for this unit. So very clear messaging. You're looking at it right now. We're doing a writing lesson. Can you tell me what the writing task is? Can you type it into the chat box for me? What's the writing task that we're going to look at today? Okay, write a paragraph, right? Write a paragraph about your favorite food. Okay, there we go. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, let's move over here. So I'm going to type 67 and hit return. And that's going to take me in the classroom presentation tool to the writing. So we've gone about halfway through the unit now, because I just want to show you the writing task. So it says here, you're going to write a paragraph about your favorite food or your national dish. So use the ideas, vocabulary, and skills from this unit. So what I want to do in this webinar, I want to show you how everything in this unit is really building up to this task, which comes about halfway through the unit. And we're going to keep this in mind. Okay, so I already asked you, didn't I? I already asked you, what kind of food do you like in your country? What's your national dish? So we've already started activating schemata. We've already started drawing on your background knowledge to help with this task we're going to look at later. Okay, let's go back now to page 59. Okay, and this comes directly after that unit opener we looked at earlier. So the unit actually starts with a video. It's a really nice video about coffee around the world. We're not going to watch that today. Maybe we can do that another time. We're going to start by looking at the vocabulary here. So what we've got here, we've got some vocabulary which we're going to see in the reading text. And we've got some example sentences to give us some context for this vocabulary. And remember, our writing task is to write about a food that we like or a national dish, right? So let's just go in, click these three dots, and I want to show you the classroom presentation tool is really interactive. So we have the exercise here, and we can go through and do a couple of these activities. So sentence number one says, I like all vegetables, but carrots are my kind. So if you have a little read across there, can you tell me which of these words, to put in favorite? Okay, so let's type that in. Oh, I'm typing it in the wrong place. I did that this morning as well. Right, so we'll put favorite in there and we can click. Okay, and then we do one more maybe. How about number two? One I love is Singapore noodles. Okay, let's try dish, right? Okay, so let's try one dish I like is Singapore noodles. Okay, so what we can do is we can go through and we can check these. We can also click this button on the right and we can go through and show the answers one by one. And then if we click this button at the top, we can check our answers are correct. Okay, and we get a nice green tick there. Then we can see that all of these are right. So this is a really nice, clear way of showing our students, especially when we're teaching online, okay, that we can focus their attention on what we want to look at and go through and show the answers. What I want to mention here as well is the actual sentences. I said that the vocabulary is from the reading, but I want to also just take a look at some of these sentences, and maybe you can tell me which of these sentences here do you think would be useful for our writing task. So if we look at sentence number 2, it says, one dish I love is Singapore noodles. So if we were going to be writing about our favorite dish or our national dish, that would be a great sentence, wouldn't it, to use as a topic sentence to introduce our paragraph. So have a quick look through these sentences. Are there any other sentences here that you think would be good for our writing task that we're going to do later on? Okay, write about your favorite food or write about a national dish. So number 2, that's a good sentence. Any of the other ones you think would be good? Number 6, right, okay, the main ingredient in this soup is tomatoes, right? So if we're going to talk about a dish, we need to explain what's in it. Number 7, pizza is popular all over the world. Most people love it. Again, that would be a great topic sentence, wouldn't it? Number 10, right, a national food of Japan is sushi. So we can see here we've got maybe this one, okay, this one and this one. We've got 3 different sentences that we could use as a topic sentence, couldn't we? So already we're giving them that language which we're going to use. We're modeling the language. Okay, let me clear these annotations and move down. So after we do that, we've got a personalization activity where we're going to recycle that vocabulary they've just learned and personalize it. So we're getting students to relate to their own lives. Again, this is really important because the more they can relate to their own life, the more they're going to understand, the more they're going to enjoy it. And I also want to draw your attention to here, the reflect. So we have 4 of these reflect boxes in each unit. And the point of this reflect task, it's to encourage students to think deeply or reflect on, on the content that we're looking at, on the ideas, on the concepts. So this question here says, what foods do you often eat? So maybe they're going to say, I often eat chicken, or I often eat bread. And then we've got this question, why? And this is a very important question in critical thinking. And as a teacher here, what we want to encourage is we don't just want students to say, because I like it, right? Because I like it, because that's the obvious answer. But there are many other reasons why we eat something. So let me give you an example. For the last couple of months, let's say the last 2 months, I have often eaten durian from Malaysia, and I've often eaten a lot of muscat grapes from China. So I'm wondering if you can tell me why I've been eating these 2 types of fruit. I mean, obviously I like them, but can you think of another reason why I might have been eating them? So durian from Malaysia and muscat grapes from China. Okay, so Tian Mai says they're nutritional. Okay, they're exotic. Okay, right, easily available. You're almost there, Rachel. Why? Right. Okay. Krizan has got it. Krizan Riva, you've got it, because they're in season, right? So I like them, but I can't always get them. I can only get muscat grapes at this time of year in Singapore because that's when they grow, right? The durian is particularly good at the moment because it's durian season. Okay. So that is my reason why. Can you give me some more reasons in the chat box why people might eat something? Or why might people often eat something? So because they're in season, because they like them, because, yes, because they're grown nearby, right? Okay, because they're grown nearby. That's a good reason. I often eat it because it's grown nearby. It's traditional, right? We often eat it because it's traditional. I often eat this because it's healthy. I often eat this because of its nutritional value, right? That's great. So you can see we're starting to think of more reasons. Cultural, maybe there's a cultural reason why you eat it. Okay, maybe maybe they like the flavor. Okay, that's right. Okay, it brings back old memories, right? Very interesting. So it's kind of evocative of our childhood, maybe. Okay, it reminds me of something. So this is exactly what we want. We're bringing in all these different ideas, and we're trying to get our students to to think more deeply about what they want to say rather than just stating the obvious. And that's what these reflect sections do. Okay, before we move on, quickly in the vocabulary box here, have a look at this vocabulary. So remember, this is an academic program. Just want you to tell me, look at these words. Do you think that these words are very academic? Or to put it another way, do you think any of these words are on the academic word list? I'll give you a clue and I'll say one of them is. Okay, so one of these words is on the academic word list. Let's see if we can guess. Azuk says available. Okay, someone says, a couple of you said ingredient. Okay, so let's just mark down those 2, right? I want to go and show you in the back. So page 154, I'm just typing it in here. If we go to page 154, we can see the vocabulary. This is the vocabulary index, and we can see the vocab for unit 4. That's what we're looking at now. And we can see that 2 of these words have got a star next to them. So what that means, it means that they're academic words on the academic word list. So in this unit, there are 2 words on the academic word list. Now, remember, this is level 1. This is for A1 students. So as we go through the levels, we will see more academic vocabulary in the higher levels, okay? But at the lower level, we will see less academic vocabulary. But it is explicit. The students can see these are the academic words. Okay, let's go back to page 59. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on. We can see that available, okay, whoever said that was right. Available is the academic word there. Okay, so next is the reading. So we've kind of started thinking, okay, about different types of food, okay, different types of food we like, types of food we often eat, and we'll be comparing those with each other. So the reading here is about universal foods. So foods that people everywhere in the world eat. So we've got a lady here. She's doing something with some food. Okay, what type of food does she have there? She's got rice, and rice is a universal food. It's eaten all over the world. Maybe some of you have done this before. She's removing stones, okay? So sometimes you get little pebbles in your rice, right? So she's getting rid of those. Can you think for me, what other types of food? So I don't mean dishes, so I don't mean pizza. I mean like ingredients. So which other ingredients are universal foods that we can find all around the world? Someone's put here bread, okay, garlic, wheat, broccoli, potato, corn, pepper, okay, salt, yeah, okay, so some of these definitely are. I think salt we'd say is a seasoning, wouldn't we, rather than a food. You couldn't just eat a bowl of salt. Eggs, okay, barley, great. So lots of ideas here. Let's have a look then at the article here that gives us some of the world's most popular foods, and some of your ideas are here: rice, beans, fish, chicken, and lettuce. Okay, so lettuce. I was a bit surprised about that one. I always associate that as being a very sort of European in a salad. In Asia, haven't seen it as much in Asia, lettuce. I love lettuce as well. I know that in China, they cook the lettuce, which I was very surprised when I first saw that. All right, so what we've got here, okay, we've got foods that are popular all over the world. And you know, we're then going to read through, and all of the language that we looked at, all of the vocabulary that we looked at a minute ago, we can see it's all in this article. So we're now going to see it in its original context, in the real context from a real article. So that's going to help the students to understand and how they're going to use that vocabulary. At the bottom here, we've got a reading skill, reading for main ideas, and it's telling the students that each one of these paragraphs is going to have a main idea. It's going to have a topic sentence. This is obviously really important for the writing task we're doing later, because here the student is learning to identify, well, here's the topic sentence. So later they're going to be expected to put that into their writing. So here we can see a very strong link between the reading skill and the writing that's going to come later on. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every exercise. We can see that there are here main idea and detail questions. I want to have a quick look at this critical thinking box here. So this is talking about the importance of personalization. We want to personalize so that we're going to understand and remember ideas more. By personalizing it, we're making it so it's not abstract, okay? We're making it so it's more relatable to ourselves. And I think this is something that I had a lot of problems with when I was teaching academic English, is that they didn't relate to the content. So often I was talking to my 14 or 15-year-old students, and they didn't have any university experience, but a lot of the materials we're looking at were talking about going to university lectures, you know, and they can't relate to that because they've never done it. So here, what we're trying to do is get them to relate, right? We've got here nice activity here. We're using our adverbs of frequency, and we're recycling the vocabulary here from the universal foods, all right? And what I'd like to do now as a quick prediction, right? So I want you to tell me, I want you to predict for me, out of these 5 foods, which of these 5 foods do you think the people in this webinar eat the most? So what do you think is the most often eaten of these from the people in this webinar today? Okay, everyone's putting rice, okay? Everyone's putting rice. So I'm going to write here most common, okay? And what do we think the opposite? Okay, which of these do you think, for the people in this webinar today, which do you think is the least commonly eaten food? Fish, potato, beans, potato, beans, fish, beans, beans, beans. Most of you are putting beans, okay? So next to beans, I'm going to put least common. Okay, sorry about my handwriting. Okay, so beans is least common and rice is most common. Right, now we're going to check that. Okay, we're going to see what the truth is. And let's see. So we're going to go into my second poll. And there we go. I'm going to launch it. So you've got 5 questions. They're all the same. How often do you eat? And then the 5 foods we've got on the screen. So just go through and choose one for each. So if you always eat rice, hit always. Scroll down. And the next one is how often do you eat beans? Okay, so tell me how often you eat it. When you get to the bottom, when you've answered all 5, make sure you hit enter or submit, I think it says, so that I can see your answers. Okay, and this will be interesting for us to see, okay, which is the most common. Okay, I'll just give you a few more seconds. All right, we've got, I'll wait until about half of you have voted. We've got 332 people here now. All right, I think I've given you enough time there. So let's end the poll and we're going to share the results. So we can see for rice, 65% of you said always. Okay, let's mark it on there. For beans, 52% of you said sometimes. For fish, we had 49% said often. For chicken, we had 56% said chicken. And for potatoes, we've got 54% said sometimes. Okay, there we go. So these are the results for all of you, for about 200 people combined. These are the results that we've got. And we can see you were absolutely right. So rice is the most common, and you were right again. So beans and potatoes are the least commonly eaten foods in this group that we're talking about. So that's interesting for me. Thanks for taking part in that. The next part of this activity, which I like here, it says, if you have checked rarely or never, I want you to explain why. So this is the second explain why activity we had. It's quite different from the other one because the first one we were talking about why we like something. So we're talking about because it's healthy or whatever. Now this time it's the opposite, isn't it? So we're saying why we don't eat foods, okay? Why we don't eat them. So what is it that's stopping us from eating these different kind of foods? So let's, again, in the chat box for me, can you type in a few reasons for me? Why do people, or why do you rarely or never eat a particular type of food? So if you said that you rarely eat beans, for example, why? Okay, someone's put here, beans, Christopher's put beans cause rheumatism. Right, there we go. So I mean, Christopher, you know, I don't know if that's true or not. So obviously this is something that people believe. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but that could be a reason that stops people from eating it. Yes, it's too expensive. Exactly. So Marjorie, some types of food, maybe fish, like in Singapore, if you want to eat fish in a restaurant, it's really expensive. So it might be something people don't eat so much of. Right, maybe it's not available. Okay, good one. Abigail says they're too starchy. It's carbs. I avoid carbs. Right, little tip for you, Abigail. I love potatoes, but when I'm trying to eat less carbs, fewer carbs, I eat cauliflower instead. And I find that cauliflower is really filling, but it's not starchy, it's not carbohydrate, so it has far fewer calories. So little tip, Abigail, go for some cauliflower rather than potato. Right, fish has bones. Great. You would be surprised. In my country, in the UK, so many people don't like fish because of the bones. And most British people, they prefer to eat filleted fish with no bones in it. If you give them a whole fish, especially with the head on, a lot of people, they don't like that. They find it too real, right? It looks too much like the original food. Okay, great. Thank you. This is really good participation. Thanks for all your interesting comments there. Okay, let's see. So we're now going to move on, okay, to the next part. So there's another, this is again pre-reading for the second reading text. There's more vocabulary. It's the same format as before. And we've got another reflect box, which I'd like to look at here. So here you notice we start talking about national dishes, which remember is going to be in our writing task. And we're going to discuss these. What foods do people eat at home? What kind of restaurants are popular? Do you prefer eating out or at home? So again, we're trying to get students to think about this on their own and then to try and draw out of them some interesting conversation. I'm going to ask you for a bit of fun, okay, an interesting activity about national dishes, all right? So I'm going to move over and show you something on my, I hope you can see this now. Okay, what can you see now? Can you see 3 types of food? Pasta, yeah, great. Okay, so these are the national dishes from 3 countries. Okay, so let's start with this one. This is an easy one, pasta. So which country is this the national dish of? Okay, Italy, right, that's easy, isn't it? And how about this one down here? What's this that I'm circling now? The US, USA. Okay, so that the burger is the national dish of America. This one's a little bit more difficult. First of all, what is this dish? Do you know? Biryani. Someone said it, biryani, right? I think Anna, you got it, biryani. So this is a biryani. And which country do you think this is the national dish of? So a lot of you are putting India, Thailand, Mexico. So Pakistan, Korea. Okay, a lot of guesses here. Someone's got it. Someone just put in, Grace has got it, UAE. So actually this is the national dish of the United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. But interesting, most of you put India. I didn't ask you where are these foods from. I asked where is it the national dish? But that would be another sort of layer that we could go into. So if we talk about pasta, for example, pasta is the national dish of Italy, but where is it from originally? I wonder if you know. Right, Yumiko's got it. So originally pasta is from China. So pasta has exactly the same ingredients as Chinese noodles. And this is where the concept came from. So the Chinese were eating wheat noodles a long time before Italy were eating pasta. Okay, so let's now go back into our classroom presentation tool. Here we go. And we're going to have a look at the reading. So this is the reading here. We've got another lovely image of a lady making some pasta in Italy, handmade pasta. Yeah, Marco Polo, that's right. He brought it to Italy. That's exactly right. And someone's put in here, Kangui's burger is originally from Germany. Right, there we go. Very interesting. So let's zoom in a little bit. Notice here that we could actually listen to this as well for extra support. So we could listen if we had time. We don't have time today. But let's focus on some of the paragraphs in the middle. So we guessed earlier, didn't we? We said that the national dish, so biryani, okay, there we go. And we can see biryani is from the national dish in the UAE. Here we've got pasta. Okay, and we can see that pasta is the national dish in Italy. So exactly as you said. And we also talked about burgers. Okay, here we go. And we can see that the national dish, it says here, one of the national dishes of the United States. So we can get our answers there. Let's just get another color. Let's do yellow. So we said that this is the national dish, but can you tell me from looking at this paragraph now, where is this actually from? I think you all know anyway. But where is this biryani dish? Where does it originate? Where does it come from? Yeah, so Hannah's got it. So it comes from India. And the second one from Italy, we said, didn't we? Okay, pasta comes from China. So we can make these predictions and then we can get our students, you know, with the first look at the text, we can actually get them to check their predictions. Christopher says India is correct. So it's from India, but it's the national dish in the UAE. So the question I asked you is, where is it the national dish? So yeah, it's from India, but it's the national dish in UAE. It doesn't tell us about the burger, but someone did say Germany, and I've heard that before as well. And if we don't have it, that would be a great opportunity, wouldn't it, to ask our students to find out. Go to an English website, go to Google or whatever. Let's try and find out where the hamburgers originate from. And that would be a really nice extension of this activity. Okay, so moving on. All right, so that basically is bringing us into the writing task, okay, which we're now going to go through. So we've done half the unit and we're now starting the writing task. And what we've done, just to recap, so we've already covered 2 vocabulary inputs, 2 readings, which are modeling the vocabulary and the phrases that we need. We've learned about food in other countries that will help us generate our own ideas. We've covered a reading skill of identifying the main idea in a paragraph. So all of this, we've personalized everything. So all of this is going to be, scaffolding for this task now. And just as Joyce said, it's an interesting topic. So students are going to be involved. It's not dry, okay? They're going to be interested in this. They're going to take part. So the next thing we're going to do is look at the structure of a paragraph. So we can see here, we've broken it down into a topic sentence and then extra sentences that give you more information about the main idea. We've also added here sentences that do not connect to the topic sentence do not belong in a paragraph. So not just what's in the paragraph, also what shouldn't be in the paragraph. This is just as important. More information, we indent the first line. So this is giving us, the blueprint for what a paragraph should be, okay, right at the beginning here. Next thing we introduce is a model, okay? So this is exactly the task. They're gonna write about my favorite dish. Here is a simple model for our A1 level students. And the task is to find the topic sentence. They know what a topic sentence is because it explains it here. And they also know it's often the first sentence in the paragraph. So let's go in and have a look at this activity. And we can see here, I've got a nice highlighter. I can go through here and highlight any sentence. So can you tell me which sentence here is the topic sentence of this paragraph? It is a nice highlighter. So which one? The first one. So let's try. So I'm going to click it and it underlines it. And then we're going to check and we got a little green tick. Congratulations. Okay, that is the topic sentence. Okay, so we've got a really nice visual demonstration of how to find the topic sentence. It's not poison, it's a tarte au poisson, means fish in French. Okay, so it's fish pie. Okay, now I want to show you something really nice with this. Look, so if I highlight this and I right click, I can copy the text, okay? And what I can then do, now I've copied the text, I can go into my OneNote, let's go back in there, and I can literally paste that in. And what I can do now is I can easily make my own activity. So I can edit this and I can change it up a little bit, and I've got almost an instant activity. So I've done that here. I mentioned just now that students often put sentences in that shouldn't be there. And it says in our description, don't put anything in that shouldn't be there. So have a look now at my paragraph. And I want you to see if you can see any sentences that shouldn't be in this paragraph. So I'll give you a few seconds to read. Okay, Farzad says there are 4 people in my family, right? So let's have a look at that one. There are 4 people in my family. Now, why shouldn't that? And the other one, of course, is France won the World Cup in 1998. But if you've been teaching academic English or writing in general, you will find that you often get this kind of sentence. Why do students put this kind of sentence in? Let's see your opinion. Why do we think we see this kind of sentence? Okay, yeah, maybe it's a filler to meet the word count. They think it's important. Right, okay, yeah, someone's got it here. Emily says they're trying to elaborate on family. And I think that is a good point, right? So here, they mention my family, right? My family loves it. But this family here, it's in relation to the pie, right? My family like the pie. And we need to refer back to the title, my favorite dish, and we need to refer back to the topic sentence. My favorite dish is tarte au poisson. This family is relevant, but the second one, so what they've done here, they say, oh, I'm talking about family, so I can write something else about my family. Also, this is a sentence that they know, right? There are 4 people in my family. This is a sentence that they've learned, and they know it's a perfect sentence. They know the grammar's right. So they think it's related, right? They're making a thematic link between family. But of course, this is not relevant because 4 people in my family does not relate to tarte au poisson, does not relate to my favorite dish. So we have to take it out. And it's exactly the same with France. They've put France, they're thinking France, and they've put something else in about France. So in their minds, that's a link, but it's not the right link. So we need to, an exercise like this, we can show them, we can show them that we're not looking for any kind of link, okay? Every sentence here has to be related back to the topic sentence. It's unnecessary, that's right. And it's confusing, like, you know, someone reading, well, why are you talking about the World Cup? I thought this was about food. So nice, easy activity that you can make for yourself. Okay, let's go back into the classroom presentation tool. All right, so let's move on to the next activity here. So again, this is just, I think, a really great activity. So we're going to analyze the model. So they've read the model, now we're going to analyze it. And what we're doing is we're breaking the model down into a step-by-step, almost like an instruction manual on how to write the paragraph. So we're giving each sentence in the paragraph a function. So let's have a look at this activity. So here we go. So we've got the first sentence is our topic sentence. And then the second sentence here, it is a type of fish pie. This is an introduction to the dish, okay? It's a type of fish pie. So sentence number 2, it says here, it's very popular in my country, France. So can you tell me which of these sentences is the function of it is very popular in France? Okay, the country the dish comes from, G, right? How about the next one? The pie is easy to cook and my family loves it. So what's the function of this sentence? Yeah, I think this is the reason why. That's why they cook it, isn't it? Because it's easy and we like it. So that's why we cook it. Next one, first, fry some fresh fish. This is the first step. Okay, so we don't need to go through and do all of these, okay? But first, then we have the second cooking step. Okay, next, we have the time. Okay, then we have the way that people eat it, and then we have the taste of the dish. And we can click here and we can see that that's correct. So now we've got this really very clear structure of the paragraph, okay? This is the order we're putting our sentences in. So for A1 level students, this is really, really clear, really, really easy to follow. All right, next we've got our writing skill, which is going to talks about listing words. And this is obviously important when we're basically talking about a recipe, okay, because we need to follow first, then, next, finally. Okay, so this helps our writing. It makes it more cohesive. Okay, it makes it easier for the reader to follow. And we've got here, it tells us that it could be for cooking, but it could also be for other things when we're writing about examples, when we're giving reasons. So it's helping us to apply this skill, not just to this task, to many other tasks as well. And we've even got a nice little bit on punctuation here, the sequencing or listing words. It's telling us that they use a comma, most of them, but not all of them. Can you look for me, which of these listing words does not take a comma? And a lot of people don't know this. Yeah, it's then, that's right. So this one here doesn't take a comma, the others do. So much useful information here. They obviously need this to write the task, right? Okay, now here, we're introducing a second model. Okay, so normally we might give one model, but here we're going to give another one. And let me show you how we've laid this out here. I think this is wonderful. So we've got the original model, model 1. Then we've got the breakdown, the functions. And now we've got our second model, which we're going to reconstruct. So we're looking for an introduction to the dish, okay? An introduction to the dish. So what do we think? Which sentence is this? Right, my favorite dish is egg fried rice. Next, we want the country the dish comes from. Here we go. It is from China. Okay, next, we want the reason the writer cooks the dish. Yes, that's right. E, the dish is very simple to cook. The first cooking step, cook the rice. The second cooking step, next, fry the rice, okay? The time it takes to cook the dish, 40 minutes, okay? The way people eat the dish, we eat it for lunch. It is delicious. And we can see here that not only are they recreating another model, which is going to help them, but these sentences are also helping them to understand what the function means. So the way people eat the dish, here we're saying when we eat it, okay? So that can also be used. So they're getting another example of what this means, okay? So it's clarifying the meaning as well as showing them the structure. I really think this is a fantastic activity for A1 level students. They're going to love it. And then once they've done this, they're going to get a great sense of achievement, and then they're going to write it out. Okay. And they're going to write it with their hand. Okay. And that's going to give them some practice, okay, of actually writing as well. Okay. So let's move on because we don't have a lot of time. Okay. So next thing we want to introduce a little bit of grammar. So an obvious grammar point to put in when we're talking about food is count and non-count nouns. We need that to talk about food, right? And here we have an introduction. It's not a thorough, it's not the focus of the lesson, but it's there to help our students. We have an activity. There's another activity, another grammar point that we're going to introduce. I want you to see if you can guess what it is. So I'm going to help you. So if we look at these sentences here, we've got cook the rice, okay, fry the rice, put soy sauce on it. So if we're telling people how to cook something, if we're giving instructions, what's the grammar point that would be useful for that? What's the grammar point we're looking at here? So we've got the infinitive. Right, okay, here we go. Jean's got it. It's the imperative, right? So this is going to be very useful for this task, yeah? So we've got the count and uncount nouns, okay? We need that. And we've also got these imperatives for giving instructions or commands. So we flip onto the next page, we can see that the second grammar point is indeed imperatives, okay? And it's got the positive and the negative. We then have grammar practice for both of these points. Okay, so moving on to exercise G. Okay, next we've got editing. And we don't always see editing in textbooks. And if we do, it's often just sentences, right? Like 10 sentences together. So here we've got model number 3. Okay, the third model. This is an imperfect model, which they're going to perfect. So it's active. You know, every model we introduce, they have a different task, right? So it's not boring. What I really like about this is that we tell them how many. There are 6 errors, and there are 2 errors in each area. 2 listing words, which we've just studied, 2 non-count nouns, which we've just studied, and 2 imperatives. So they're really focusing here on the language, the target language, which they've been taught. At the same time, they're absorbing information in a third model. Let's have a quick look at how this looks. So again, we've got another nice editing activity here. So my favorite dish is Thai red curry. It's very popular here in Thailand, and it is very easy to cook. Looks okay to me. Next, cook some meat with vegetables in oil. So I think there's a problem there. What's the problem in this second sentence? Right, so oils is a problem. So what should we type there? Instead of oils, let's type oil. Why is it oil? It's oil because it is an uncount noun, right? An uncountable noun, non-count. And here, a lot of you said next. Okay, it's not next, is it? Because this is the first one. So we want to put in first. Should I use a comma here? Can you remember? Yeah, so let's put the comma in. Oh, let's put the comma in there and hit OK. Yeah. We can go through and we can find all of the other ones, right? So this is actually quite a fun activity. You know, I think students like it. It's almost like a puzzle, isn't it? You know, I'm going through looking for these mistakes. You know, they've got all the information in their book to help them. And we can then check, okay, that all of our answers are correct. So really nice editing activity there for model number 3. Okay, just a few more stages. We're doing process writing, right? And these are all the stages in the process. Here we've got brainstorming under plan and write. The first stage, when you're planning, you brainstorm. It says, think of some of your favorite or your national dishes. Now for this activity, it's probably pretty easy, you know, because everyone has a favorite dish, right? You know, I can say it's pizza or whatever it is. We don't have to think about it that hard, but what we're doing here is we're training our students, because often they don't do this stage, they don't brainstorm, they just start writing. So we want to show that this is part of the process. So we do it every time. Even if they think they don't need to, we still do it. And we show that actually when you do it, you'll get more ideas. As the writing tip says here, you have to pick something where you have enough ideas. So just because pizza is my favorite food, it isn't, but let's say it is, it doesn't mean that that's the best thing to write about. And we only find that out after we brainstorm and collect all those ideas. Which one has the most ideas? That's the one I'm going to talk about. So we're creating the habit of the process of writing, of brainstorming, even if students think they don't need to do it. Okay, moving on, plan. So next thing we're going to do, students are going to plan. And here they're just writing single words, name, lasagna. Okay, where the dish is popular, Italy, how to cook it. Okay, we need, first we cook bolognese sauce. Next we cook bechamel sauce. Next we layer in a dish. When or where do I eat it? I eat it at the weekend. Why I like it? Because it's comforting, I don't know. So we're just going to write single words, or, you know, not sentences here. And students are getting their ideas down in the correct order. So we're taking the ideas from the brainstorm and we're laying it out in the logical order. And that is going to help them when they actually come to write. Then we're going to go and do the first draft. And if you're in the classroom, they can write it on paper. If you're online, they could even type it into the chat box and send it to you privately so that you have a record of it. That's very easy to do. First draft is done. Now, this is the part here, which I think is really interesting and really important. So we've got this revise section here. And the way I like to do this is students do this on their own. So they sit with their paragraph, they read through, does your topic sentence state the main idea of my paragraph? And I look at my paragraph, I think, yes, it does. And if I think it does, I'm going to tick it. And I'm going to go through all of these. So basically, if they can't tick something, it means that they're going to need to change it, right? But what we often find is that students tend to overestimate perhaps their writing. So what I like to do then is get them to work with a partner, and we give the paragraph to the partner, and the partner actually does the same activity for their partner's piece of work. And then when they've both done that, they compare. So you've put that you've done all of these 5 things, but I think you've only done 3 of them. So can you show me where these 2 missing things are? I don't think you used any imperatives because you put you. Okay, you cut the vegetables. Okay, that's not the imperative. So here we're going to use peer feedback. Okay, to check. Okay, and this is a really nice way of you know, because it's difficult. You probably find this yourself. When you write something, it's very hard to spot your own mistakes. So getting your partner to do it can make it easier to notice things. When we've done that, okay, we're going to do editing. And here we've got a nice list. Again, did you indent? Okay, do you use the count and non-count nouns correctly? So we're editing. They've already had practice editing. Now they're editing their own work, but we're reminding them that this is the target language. Okay, we're writing about food, but we're also writing about count and non-count nouns. Okay, that's what we're learning about. We're using listing words. We should be using commas. So it's reminding them, it's making it explicit. This is what we are aiming for. It's setting their expectations so that they can complete the task. And when they've done all of that, finally, they are going to do the final draft. So we're on stage M. So who can tell me how many stages are there in this writing lesson? M, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. There are 13. Okay, so there are 30. Well done, Raquel, well done. There are 13 stages in here. But as I hope I've showed you, every single activity is different. Every activity is bringing in something new. And every activity is scaffolding the task for them to give our A1 students the best possible chance and the most support that they can produce a good piece of work that they are proud of and that they have done well. And this is why I love this activity. This is why I love this book. Okay, I think it's fantastic. The very last page in the unit is the final reflect. And here it's almost like you can use this for formative assessment, right? We're checking off again, can you do these things? Do you know this vocabulary? What do you know about national dishes now? Okay, what interesting idea did you learn in this unit? So it's like an exit ticket. It's self-reflection. It's students are basically grading themselves. Have they learned these things? And this relates back to what I showed you on the first page in the unit opener. All of these things here, the skills they were going to learn and the topics they were going to discuss, all of that is brought together on that last page here. Okay, so that brings me to the end, okay, of the lesson. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that you've found that interesting. I'm just going to swap back into my PowerPoint. So let me stop sharing just for a second, and we're going to go back into a new share. Share screen, advanced. Okay, give me a few seconds, please. And I just want to run through a little bit, tell you what we've been talking about. So in case you missed it earlier, we've been looking at Reflect. It's our new academic program. And I'm going to summarize for you the things that I really like about this program. So firstly, it's an academic program set in a relatable context. So students are learning academic skills, but they're also enjoying real world ideas and real world content. It's called Reflect because it's asking our students to think deeply with critical thinking, to reflect on the topics, to reflect on their learning and to reflect on their own lives through personalization. As you've seen, the other thing I love about this is the really clear, logical structure and huge amount of scaffolding, which is helping our students to really achieve something. All of the models, the clear modeling, the practice, the scaffolding, it really makes it a fantastic and easy course to teach and a satisfying course to study. Each unit is broken down into these sections, and they're all the same, and everything we're doing here is leading up into that final writing productive activity. The unit opener and the video, these activities are designed to activate schemata, to get students involved in the topic, to predict ideas. Then all through the reading, we're looking at skills work, we're looking at vocabulary, we're looking at phrases, okay, we've got the grammar in there, so everything they need, and at the end, they're going to reflect on what they've learned and what they can do. I think a wonderful structure. Last thing I want to show you, something I mentioned earlier. So remember the lesson today, A1, right? Very, very low level for academic English. And I showed you that 2 of those words in the unit are on the academic word list. Most of the words here are A1 or A2, and a few are B1. This is useful for students to know. Here is a unit from level 3, and we can see in level 3, about half of these words are on the academic word list. And as we go higher, level 4, 5, and 6, we'll find even more of these words are on the academic word list. So it's logical to me that at A1, we're not focusing all entirely on academic language because the level is too high. At the low levels, for vocabulary, we want them to get that foundation in English. So the lower levels, it's academic activities, but often using foundation level language. As we get higher, we're bringing more academic language in, but it's still very accessible and very relatable. Okay, I have a question for you now, right? So if you would like, if you like what you've seen today, okay, and if you've enjoyed the Reflect materials, I'm going to give you an opportunity for us to get in touch with you. So if you would like someone from National Geographic Learning to contact you about this program, or maybe about another one of your needs, I would like you to fill in this form, okay? So I'm just going to pause my share just for a second, and I'm going to end the slideshow. I'm just going to go and drop this into the chat box. So here we go. This is an important one. So let me, oh, I've got a lot of boxes in my way here. Sorry, just give me a second. Let me copy that and go to the chat box. Here it is. Okay, so yeah, I've just typed this in. So if you want us to contact you about this program, please click and fill in this request form. I'm just going to keep putting it in here because it might get lost. Yeah, and we will contact you, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit just while you can see that up there. I know a lot of you are keen on getting your certificate. So we are going to send you a certificate tomorrow. We're going to send you an email tomorrow with a link to the recording of today's session and also with a link to your certificate. You will get it by the end of tomorrow, okay? And you'll be able to get your certificate and the link to the recording. I'm just going to put a few links here into the chat box for you. I'll put them in again. So there's a few things here. There's that contact request form. I've put in the link here to our Facebook page. If you like what you've seen today, please like us on Facebook, and then you will be able to follow all of our events, all of our webinars. You'll be able to find out about them. I've also included the Reflect product page and the links to both of our webinar pages. So we have our Asia webinar page and also our global webinar page, where you can find out about all of our upcoming webinars. They're all free and all of them will provide you with a certificate. I'm gonna just show you one more thing. Let me do a new share. Let's go to screen share. So here, yeah, so this is our Facebook page here. Okay, this is my view. I'm a moderator. You can see me on there. Okay, we're still live, actually. That reminds me, I should stop that, shouldn't I? Let's stop the live stream. Okay, and over here, okay, this is our product page. Just something that I think will be interesting for you if you go to our product page. So our web page is eltngl.com. I'll say that again, eltngl.com. If you go in and search for products and type in Reflect, you'll be able to find it here, reading and writing. And if you click this button, program information, a couple of things here. You can actually download several sample. These are full units, several units. So you could even try this in your classroom. So yeah, you know, I want you to try it out. I want you to use it. I want you to see if you like it. So another thing that would be useful here is important information. You can also download the scope and sequence there. So there's a lot of materials you can get for free here. And there's, you know, lots of information about the program. If you enjoy it, if you like using it, I hope that you can tell the other teachers in your school, in your organization. You know, if enough teachers enjoy using it, maybe eventually you will be able to use it. Okay. Was there anything else I needed to tell you? No, just to remind you, okay, that we do have upcoming webinars. This is our webinar page, nglAsia.com/webinar. Okay, I'll just put that into the box again for you. Okay, so if you bookmark this page, okay, actually, we will put some new events up there soon. We've got one coming up on the 14th of October, where Mr. Andrew Tiffany is going to be doing a session, model lesson on how to teach young learners phonics and writing. So that's on the 14th of October. And on the 28th, I'm going to be doing another lesson, another model lesson using our content-based English program, which is called Reach Higher. Okay, let me have a look. I'll have a quick look in the Q&A box. Yeah, I've done the Facebook already. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got... someone's asking me, Sarah's asking me, ELT teachers, only few people put emphasis on the writing task. Well, I think maybe a lot of teachers kind of shy away. They're reluctant to do writing because firstly, they think that students don't like doing writing. And secondly, maybe because they're not confident in writing. But as you've seen today, using the materials here, even if you didn't know how to write a paragraph, by the time you've taught this lesson, you will know how to write a paragraph, because that's the kind of level of support that it has there. So I think often teachers are reluctant to do it because they don't know how to do it, or they think students won't like it. But students do like it if they get a sense of achievement. When they've done something they know they've done well, then they will enjoy it. So this one, grades 2 to 5. Well, actually, Warren, so what I showed you today, it's not about grade level, it's about ability level. So this is for A1 level. So, I mean, all of the Reflect materials, I would really suggest for higher secondary and university. I think if we give this to, a 10-year-old at A1, it's going to be a little bit, it's not really suitable. So it's for teenagers, but probably the higher end of secondaries, I think would be the right kind of start point for this. Let me see. Ruth Ramos, you're asking where we can buy the book. Well, the first thing you can do is you can fill in the form that I put into the chat box earlier, and we will get in contact with you. A lot of people have been asking about the CPT, the classroom presentation tool. So the students don't have the classroom presentation tool. That's for the teacher. The students have something else. The students have something called online practice, which is similar activity types, but it's used for homework. So it will all be related, okay, to what they're doing, but it will be different activities using a very similar approach, similar activity types. How many units? There are 8 units, okay, in each level, Abigail, and each unit is designed for about 5 hours of study, but that could easily be tailored to anywhere from about 3 hours to about 7 hours, depending on how you approached it. So 8 units, approximately 5 hours, but could be between 3 and 7 per unit. Abigail, I hope that answers your question. Natasha, we have so many people attending the webinars, Natasha. So please, can you type in your name yourself onto the certificate? Because otherwise it would take us so many hours to type them all in. So my apologies, but please type in your name yourself. Okay, right. I think we are overdue, 10 minutes overdue here. So let's call this a day. All right. I'm just going to put one more time into the chat box for you. Let me just put the links in one more time that I showed you earlier, and everything that you need to know you can find in these links. So click on them now, click on the links. Okay, that top one is the contact request form for someone who asked how to buy the program. Okay, everyone. Wonderful to have so many of you here today. Thank you for attending and enjoy your evening or morning or whatever time it is and wherever you are. Keep safe, and I will see you hopefully on the 28th of October. Okay, goodbye.